My name's Arnold Ruiz. I grew up in the city of Los Angeles. I've been in prison for about 15, 16 years, in and out all my life. I grew up following the wrong leaders, the wrong crowd, which landed me in prison for all those years. I was a drug addict, ex-gang member, alcoholic, um, sold drugs to maintain my lifestyle and to use drugs mainly. Um, Throughout that time in prison, I always believed that there was a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, with the stories that I've been told and in the politics that I believed in and the career I was pursuing in prison. You know, Everything I did was just to me in that mindset at the time. Everything I did was to put something on my resume, my street resume, this reputation I was trying to uphold and build, of being this strong, scary guy, you know, um, just for survival, basically. When in all reality, I was the child that was alone, the child that seeked love and attention and affection, that I never really got at home at the time, because my parents were immigrants. My dad was back and forth to Mexico trying to earn a living, and my mother worked in factories, all these hours, so there was never really nobody at home, so I would seek validation and happiness on the streets, and I did, and that's when I got caught up with the wrong people. Um, I got out in 2006 from Lancaster State Prison, and I really thought that, I had a grip on it this time. I thought that I wasn't going to return to prison, and I ended up returning maybe about maybe about 4 years later. But in the middle and in between that time, my parole officer sent me to Amistad in Los Angeles, California, in the middle of South Central, because I didn't have a parole address, because all the bridges I burned, my parents were fed up with me, my family gave up on me, nobody trusts me anymore. So I went to Amistad for a 6-month program there, and while I was there, I learned a few things. I learned how to be honest. I learned integrity. I learned how to have friends. I learned all these things with seminars, the curriculum, workshops. But when I transitioned from there, I didn't put nothing into effect. I didn't apply all this information that I learned. I still learned it. I just didn't apply it. So when I went back to prison, the whole time in prison, I'd write Amity and ask him for another chance. That I now know that, the place is designed to work. I know that Amity does change people, because everything I got into that led me back to prison the last time was everything that was taught to me in order to not go back to prison. So after about 3 years, I paroled once again, back to Amistad for a second chance. I still remember in my interview that a few fellas in there that interviewed me, I still remember to this day, I let them know that, I wasn't going anywhere. I believe in this place. I wish I would have applied this information the last time. I was a firm believer that this place works and that I had a chance of turning my life around, because even though I was this ex-gang member, drug dealer, menace to society, home wrecker, you know, you know, I did a lot of very bad things out there. I knew that deep down inside, I wanted to change my life around. I just didn't know how, and I needed help. And all that help was provided there that day in that interview. Some of those guys are still around. But anyways, I got engaged in the process of learning, of transformation, of reinventing myself, you know, just kind of like, wanting, somebody's past was my future. I just latched on to somebody's coattails, and they kind of like led me along the way, to changing the paradigm on everything, the way I looked, the way I dressed, my vocabulary, down to even this tattoo removal program at Homeboys Industries that they would take me to for a couple of years to get laser removal done, so that I can return in society as a changed person, so people view me as a different person. I wanted to leave my old life behind and transform into a man, somebody that's trustworthy, somebody that's a father, somebody that's a brother, somebody that's a son, somebody that's a friend. I wanted all these things in life. I just didn't know how to obtain them at the time. But with the help of my friendships and a lot of hard work, slowly but surely, I was peeling the layers, like of an onion, in transformation. At first it was foreign, it was odd, it was hard, there was resistance, just like anything else for somebody that's been conditioned to look and act and do things a certain way. The resistance was, what are people going to think of me? How am I going to act? How's it going to feel? But with the help of some of my mentors, like, little by little, they helped me. They helped me get through all these obstacles. Like, for instance, when I knew I was a changed man. I was changing slowly inside. The only thing I had to work on was not only thing I had to work on, but, I remember this one day when, like, I felt changed inside, but I forgot, I was so conscious of working on the interior that I kind of like forgot to work on the exterior, to where, I was mistaken for the wrong person one day, going on a pass, catching the bus in downtown Los Angeles, to where it was kind of like life-threatening, scary, and it put me in a situation where I started to think like, okay, I can't fit the description of an ex-gang member and be changed inside or working on myself inside. So now I have to take it a little bit further, as far as like another layer I have to uncover, which was, changing my appearance. I wore a 3X t-shirt, size 52, jeans, shaved my head, had tattoos on my face, walked different, you know what I mean? Kind of like, thuggish and stuff like that, and I was learning that in order to become someone else, that was something else that I had to work on, so I started off with kind of like asking questions or looking around, or just emulating somebody that I wanted to be like, whether it was just the exterior. Okay, I see this guy, he looks like a square, somebody that nobody will hurt, harm, or something like that. This is me at the moment, so like I just would emulate them, shrink down on my like t-shirt size, to where I would shrink down on my jean size, to just simple things that were kind of like strange to me, to where like, I thought it was funny that I was able to actually see my tennis shoe for the first time in 25 years, so it's kind of like the transformation was from like this baggy attire to like, skinny jeans, normal size t-shirts, maybe a normal haircut, stuff like that. So what happened next in my my phases, with Amistad was that, I knew for a fact that I wanted to be around. I wanted to be part of Amity. I liked what I was hearing. I liked what I was teaching. You know, I considered myself a social vaccine, as to where, in a negative way, where I would learn how to sell dope, sack dope up, sell it on the street, as to where, like, you know, I'm learning the process, I'm learning how to change, I'm learning valuable information that I can share with others and be a part of their transformation. So I decided to raise the bar and become a intern at Amistad. So I started doing my internship when, my funding source was running out. I figured if I was to be scholarshiped, I could stick around a little bit longer and just basically just strengthen my recovery. That was just where I was at that moment. And so my internship consisted of, being a community intern, whether it was an enrollment or the maintenance. It was mainly like hosting seminars in a circle, a curriculum intern attached to a demonstrator. But I knew everything that I was learning and teaching was valuable to me, because in my process of change, and the goal was just to get off parole, probation, adult supervision. I was on those things all at the same time. I still remember to this day where, like, I didn't really realize how lost I was in my addiction, to where, when, like, the actual sheriff's department raided Amistad looking for me, like, they couldn't believe that I was there. Like, they wanted proof that I was there. I still remember to this day, I was motivating when a faculty called me to the street and there was 5 cop cars there waiting for me, to question me. What am I doing? Why am I still here? What's wrong with you? Like, all these, like, messages that made me believe, like, it just made me think, actually, like, I don't want to go back to prison. I don't, I never knew that I was that bad of a person. I'm gonna change that energy into something different. I didn't know what at the time. And then I remember one day after a workshop, I believe they needed help in the culinary arts department in Circle Tree Ranch. And I just happened to get off of probation, adult supervision, and parole. And I was, transitioned here to the Circle Tree Ranch culinary arts department. And I just came in with no experience whatsoever. Just started washing dishes, cleaning, serving, and just building community, getting to know the property, getting to know students, getting to know the faculty, just mingling with everybody, having a great time, that I was doing something positive. I felt good. I felt happy, no worries at all. I washed dishes for, quite some time, maybe about a year. And then, we were trying to do, like, different things in the department, incorporating healthy food. I was part of it when it all started. It wasn't easy, but, we were trying to do something different, trying to feed the community different, to where we, started adding vegetables to everything we made. But at that point in time, my job was just making the juice. That's it. Cleaning, open up, close, making the juice. And that was my contribution, because that was all I knew how to do. Just wash some vegetables, put them down the juicer, and just kind of, like, run them through. Another year passed, people come and go. They needed somebody to cook breakfast. By that time I was already making, like, my little creations, my little treats on the side and stuff like that. I remember one of the chefs said, why don't you make 100 of those for breakfast tomorrow and take care of that? And I was like, I didn't know if I could handle it. You know, I was nervous, I was stressed out. Is it gonna be good? But then again, like, you know, positive reinforcement, like, you know, you could do it. That looks amazing. I'm sure they're gonna love it. And that encouraged me to come in about, you know, 3 hours earlier than I should have been there just to get it right. And then from that, you know, maybe another year passed, you know, to where, you know, more people come, more people go. And, you know, they were teaching me how to do lunches, you know, whether it was starting on the soup, you know, starting on the salad bar. You know, there was, you know, me not knowing at the time, but, you know, there was this, you know, setup involved to where, like, you know, the whole time I was washing dishes was just to familiarize myself with what this pot's called, what this pan's called, what this spatula's called, so therefore when, you know, the chefs would ask me, hey, I need a shotgun, hey, I need a sheet pan, hey, I need a 600, hey, I need a 400, hey, I need a tennis racket, you know, I knew what they were just from washing dishes, you know. And then when I was transferred to the salad bar for lunch, you know, I didn't know at the time that that was my knife skills section, you know, so because I was on that for a while too, where, you know, I would cut slow. So before you knew it, you know, I was just chopping away, filling it up. But one thing that I can say about that kitchen was that, you know, not only did I build friendships with everybody that was in there, you know, not only did I give back to the community, not only did was I of service of serving students and faculty, you know, I picked up a good trade. You know, I picked up I was on a start, on a headway towards a good career, you know, because you know, I was kind of like blessed that, you know, I was hired on. You know, I was hired on the team, you know, never asked for nothing, and didn't even know I was gonna be hired on as a cook, you know, and when that day came, you know, I felt really proud, you know, that I did something, you know. So not only did I have my community skills, you know, I also had my cooking skills, you know, to where I intertwined both of those things, and I was preparing myself for when the new kitchen opened. You know, I was preparing myself to open up my classroom to people so that I can teach what I've been taught. And, you know, one thing that I will continue to say is that, like, you know, this is the first job that I've ever had. You know, up until this day, you know, this is the first job I ever had. This is the first place that's ever called me Arnold. You know, this is the first place I felt a part of something big. So after transitioning to the large kitchen in the affirmation circle, I was thinking to myself, you know, how do I put this together? How can I still be a teacher? How could I still be a counselor? How could I still be a cook all at the same time? You know, so not only was I demonstrating and teaching what I have learned the few years before we transitioned to the new kitchen, you know, I still wanted to be a part of the community. You know, even though the culinary arts department was a heartbeat of the community, you know, so I was thinking, how can I organize this? How can I put this together? You know, how can I still go to circle? How could I still host community circle? How could I still stop somebody that's having a bad day that wants to leave the campus? You know, how can I find time to sit in a circle for somebody who's struggling? How can I still do the things that I love to do, you know, and cook at the same time? How could I still pull people along? How could I still mentor people? So that's my only solution was, like, just do it. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. So therefore, like, you know, we would come to work, you know, we would get everything ready, same setup, dishwasher, salad bar, soup, and then we had the cooks in the back who was cooking lunch. We had students that wanted to learn, that wanted to wash dishes, wanted to sweep, wanted to help. Just wanted to hang out, do something different because they might have been having a bad day in community. Somehow, we got enough energy flowing in the culinary arts department to where it was gravitating students from the community that were making the big kitchen their sanctuary. They could be themselves. They could get loud if they want. They could bang on stuff, but at the end of the day, we made lunch. We were there for somebody. We made dinner. We made breakfast. We helped somebody. There was a lot of things that we were doing in there that we thought were impossible. We just figured out somehow how to find the time to still be a part of the community while prepping breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I did see transformation in students, like myself. I know that some people stood there, some people transitioned, some people left, but the culinary arts team played a magnificent role in being there for somebody, helping them obtain an internship in the culinary arts department, and then hiring them as a full-time job, career. The most important part of it was that, I never stopped to think that everybody that funneled through there, whether they're with Amity or not, they ain't in prison no more. They ain't in jail no more. They have families. They have kids. They were getting married. I never stopped to think the impact that a few guys and women had on the students that were coming through culinary arts department, whether it was our services there, whether it was our food truck promoting in the larger community. I never stopped to think how much effect we had on not just this community, but in the larger community as well. So we came to the point where, if we were really gonna do something different, we gotta start implementing a healthy way of living, a healthy diet, whether it's through seminars, whether it's through food, or all wrapped up in general. Because in all reality, the majority of us in the culinary arts department, the last thing we actually cooked was meth. You know what I'm saying? To where flipping that paradigm continuously into cooking something different and receiving information from other folks that we were determined to turn this around in a healthier way of living. So we would research vegan food. We would research vegetarian food. We would research what the meaning of all this is. What is vegan? What is vegetarian? What does sugar do to you? What does milk do to you? What does butter do to you? So we got together as a team to formulate a menu that students might not be accustomed to at the time, but with dedication and new employees trickling in and new information, little by little we were able to transition into cooking healthy. Once I started educating myself and researching these things, because me coming from prison, from eating top ramens and switching over to maybe tofu. So for myself, just like many others, I found out I had high cholesterol. Really high. In the 300s. So I went to the doctor, and they, automatically wanted to prescribe me medication, Lipitor. And I knew that I wasn't going to take it. I knew that I didn't want to take it, but at the same time, I wasn't ready for the change. I knew what I had to do. So I went vegetarian. And then, because I didn't want to give up meat, you know, but I was still eating cheese. I was still eating butter. I was still eating all those things. But every time I went to the doctor, my cholesterol was still high. You got to remember, I was in the 300s, you know, so at this point in my life, like I already knew what I had to do. The resistance was that I didn't want to do it, you know. Why? I'm not sure, you know. It was just like anything else. I didn't want to stop being a gang member, but I knew I didn't want to die in prison. You know, I didn't want to stop dressing like a gang member, but I knew I didn't want to get sweated out there in the streets when I'm doing the right thing. So continuing to shift my paradigms to live a longer and healthier life, I knew I had to stop eating meat. I knew I had to transition to a vegan plant-based diet. So I tried that for about 60 days, and I went back to the doctor, and dramatically my cholesterol levels dropped by the hundreds. Now I'm at a healthy cholesterol level to where I was, you know, on the wrong path. And you know, I'll never stop remembering that day when I called them up, you know, for my results. And you know, they said they couldn't even believe it. They said, "Wow, Mr. Ruiz, your levels dropped like dramatically, like you are doing really good." You know, I incorporated even exercising, physical health, you know, but the doctor the whole time thought it was the medication, you know, because I never told them I didn't pick it up. I never told them I didn't take it. You know, I already knew what I had to do from my experience being here at Amity, from going to the seminars, from reading stuff, literature that Naya sends out, you know, from workshops. You know, I already knew what I had to do. I just had to incorporate it. So when they thought it was the medication that helped me drop that, I was just in my head thinking to myself, wow, you know, just another check, like for Amity in saving my life, in helping me transform, made me believe more that like I could do more. You know, I could teach it. I could use my life story. I could use my experience, you know, because not only did my cholesterol drop, I lost 20 pounds of fat as well. You know, not only did I lose 20 pounds of fat, you know, I felt better. You know, I exercised to where it goes beyond that, you know, not just being vegan for the health, but like being vegan, you know, I didn't know that I was contributing to saving the planet, you know, so that made me once again like, okay, so I'm continuing to do something good. You know, not only am I taking care of my health, my cholesterol's down, I feel better, you know, I'm contributing to the earth as well. You know, I'm saving the planet, you know, and it reminds me of like, you know, to when I used to destroy the planet, you know, by selling drugs, breaking up families. You know, for all I know, people became homeless because of me, or OD'd because of me. You know, so I use that in a form as well as making amends with society and the community and the world as well. You know, but all in all, like, you know, it plays a really big part in my life to where like I feel better, you know, have more energy. You know, I don't get sleepy when I eat. You know, I can jog, I can hike, I can exercise, um, down to where like the Tour de Tucson once a year. You know, I think I broke my record, 52 miles in about 3 hours. You know, that was an accomplishment as well for me. You know, but you know, all in all, like learning this new way of life, but also incorporating them into our community here. You know, when you don't change the paradigm on your eating, and you continue to drink sodas, you continue to smoke, you know, you continue to eat processed food, high sugar, fructose, corn syrup, what happens is, you know, I know a lot of people that lost their lives. I know a lot of people that lost their lives to because they wouldn't want to stop smoking, because they didn't want to stop eating what was killing them, whatever it might have been for them. That's why, that's why I believe, like, if you really want to do something different, like change your eating habits, not only will you live longer, you'll think different and be more of service, in the type of work we do, you know. One of my favorite dishes is fettuccine pasta with cashew cream sauce with spinach and plant-based crumbles. And it's so fantastic. That's something that we brought here a while back. I never knew that I could still eat good, feel good, in a healthier, positive way.